once you click, right, specifically if you were to click an edit, it would append the form, and then we should add an event listener immediately on there. We should disable the edit button so that it never works again. So that at most, when you click the edit, inside here, you should remove the event listener for it. There's a way to remove the event listener. Cool? That would be the proper solution. We're not going to go into that because all we need now is the basic functionality of crud. Removing event listener is a very quick MDN search, yeah? And then just implementing it. We could talk offline about fully doing a user experience, but that's how to do it. Otherwise, the other way that we talked about is extracting it out. This edit form already exists on the HTML. On the click of the edit, this should simply, this overlay hides it. That's all it does. The CSS class, it just does like display hidden or display none, I think. So when I click the edit, this overlay, all I have to do is change the CSS of this and then have it display. This one global form will submit to the patch. And so I never have to worry about nesting or unnesting or doing any of the other weird things that happen. Because this already exists on the page, I can do the patch request with this one form that already exists on the page. Are there any questions on that? So what we did was we appended a form with the edit button. What we can do is we can simply display a form that already existed. And that way, this form is not attached to any individual Pokemon, and it already exists on the HTML, so you can have an event listener on this form. And it would just toggle on and off based on the edit, and it would get the details of that particular Pokemon based on which edit button you got. That's why the find was so important in the JS. We can use this data. When you click the edit, it would change the CSS of the global form and pass it the information. Cool? There's two schools of thought here. Yeah.
Where would you put it? Where would it show up?
It could be anywhere you want. I mean, right now, or like a modal that pops up. This is the modal, and I didn't want to like jump into that. It's too much information right now. Cool. Who feels comfortable doing it either way? Who feels comfortable doing it at least one way? Either way. All right, so I'm going to walk through it. Cool? So you have a click, right? What we did, is everyone comfortable with this so far? Appending the form. Cool? I'm going to add an event listener on it immediately, right after it appends. Cool? So far, so good. I mean, that's just like what the normal thought process would be, right? Once it exists, I can add an event listener to it. Yeah? And now we can do the fetch and patch based on the submission of this form, listening for what's going on. I will walk you through the other one completely separately, only because I don't want to walk through both at the same time, because it will get very confusing. This is the first time you start to see a large split into how things are done in JavaScript, and you'll run into really wacky things. So, one more time. If you click the edit button, it adds a form and it attaches an event listener to that form. And now we have access to the event listener. Yeah?
I don't know a lot already, but I feel like just from previous things, I'm already in the mindset that I wouldn't like doing it that way. It seems like to disable the button, it just seems like to hack around it, it just seems to me the wrong way. I know there's no wrong way, but
it is not the experience that you want to create, and that's fine. Cool. Sometimes it's better to like append. Sometimes it's better to have global. Depends on what your user experience is going to be like. Sweet. So let's go continue this because I feel like everyone understands the process and logic of this so far. And I will simply talk you through and walk through the other way kind of quickly. Feel free to glaze over it if that is not your style or you cannot handle that extra stuff. Cool? I will end it, and then anyone that wants to roll out can roll out, and then I'll walk through the other one. All right? So here, I'm simply preventing the default of that event listener. So far, so good. What do I want to do now? I did. All right? And then I console logged. What should happen now? What should happen right after I submit the edit form with edit data? I should update the database, right? So, ooh, yeah. What is the RESTful route for editing? Where did I lose that thing? Here we go. There's some sort of ID here, right? Can I interpolate?
Yeah.
And what's the ID? Well, luckily for me, I have the Pokemon data. Right? So, do I put the method out here, outside the fetch? Do I put the method for the fetch outside the fetch? Of course not. That sounds crazy to me.
Bananas, yo.
Cool. Ready? So bizarre. Oh, I'm going to find myself in JavaScript help. Cool. So, I need to specify specifically the, all right, we're editing here. Cool, no big deal, NBD. Who remembers the other one? Right, what the server should receive and what we should get back. All right, and that is going to be the content type has to be written exactly this way, capital C, capital T. It will break on you otherwise, right? And that is going to be, for an application, I'm going to send back JSON, and I want back, how do I tell them I want it back? Accept. Oops. Cool. I think this is wrong. There's like, I think I made strings instead of, oh yeah, no, it's fine. Sometimes you can write it without strings. I think it's content type. But either way, cool. So is there anything else I want to send inside the fetch? Cool. Remember, headers is the value, just like patch is the value. The next thing after that is going to be body. And how do I want to send it again? What am I stringifying? What object? Remember, I got to send the same type of data that I sent with the post. So, where's that post? Here it is. Yeah? Cool. But do I want new name input and new front image and new back image? No, I need the data from the edit form instead. Right? Looks like that global variables from the original form not looking too bad, huh? Great. Let's get all the inputs now because I did not finish that like the dirtbag that I am. So this is the name, and then we need the front, and then we need the back. Cool? And what is the front and the back here? Ugh, wow. Any confusion as to how I got that? Cool. So then, do I need to change this? So far, so good? Cool, 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 cool. What should we do now? You're on a roll today. You're on fire. Remember, where does that go? Right after the fetch is done, right? That's how you do the then. Cool? So, then action, right? And that's just going to give me back a response that I'm going to parse into JSON. And then, front. It's trash, right? Do you want the arrow function or the keyword function? Ooh, ooh, all right. Fancy. There we go. Cool. What does this then receive? Whatever the JSON callback returns, right? Whatever this then returns. So what should I see based on what I'm giving it, and what does Rails normally send back? Like the updated object, right? In the same way that the post sends back the newly created object, the update should send back the updated object. Cool? So this is like updated Pokemon. Was there any confusion on that? Cool. Can I just console log the updated Pokemon? That makes sense so far, right?
Where does updated Pokemon?
Back from the server in the response after I send this fetch. That was a lot of code. Let's see if it works. Cool. Who wants to be updated? Squirtle? Cool. Squirtle squad. You want to just give a new picture for Squirtle? Steve Buscemi? Oh yeah, this is it right here. That's money. That's money. Powerful. That's weird. It looks like my DOM did not update, but did my backend. What? Yeah, what happened here? Womp, womp. What happened? I think so. Yeah. Let's console log those. Let's see what happens. Name, edit input, and then front edit input. Bloop, 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 bloop. Cool. You guys ready? How do I trigger this again? Cool. Anyone know why they would be empty here? Hmm?
Are you supposed to
Return?
return?
It might. Hmm?
We're only getting the name details into the, but we're not getting the actual.
How do I get it? I can just bring down the data I use, right? What is this? Yeah, I think I named this the same kind of. Why is this? Hold on, let's check a look at the HTML. Why does it point to that? Did you see that? This pointed to this. Hmm? Yeah. Why is it giving me the in this form? What? I didn't hear you. What?
Can you look like inspect one of the forms on the edit and see what the ID is? Does it have the same ID?
It shouldn't.
The one, the edit.
The pop-up part.
Yo, maybe you can help me with this, dude. I'm literally grabbing the ID of edit poke name, and it's like giving me the wrong one.
Oh, do you have two?
No, I don't. It says view poke back front sprite. And this one is definitely edit poke name. Yeah, we're totally finding it. So here's let's take a look at the code.
Yeah, show me what's going on.
Yeah. Boop, boop, boop.
My aunt does that all the time. She'll just like stand in front of the TV and be like,
I thought it was something else. I thought it was a different error, but now now that I've dug into it. So all I did was, in the edit, I find the Pokemon.
okay.
I append the form. Oops.
There's a lot of scrolling.
Yeah, I append the form. And then oh. Okay, I know what happened. All right, so either way, Andrew, this was going on. I append the form, and then I immediately ask for the value.
There's no value in the edit form.
We're storing. Yeah, what's the value of a form, of this form at this point in time?
Yeah, we're interpolating it.
Interpolate, okay.
Yeah, but even still, I
But
think,
what
I think
happens
it
when
grabs.
changes in our variable still.
Yeah.
But edit poke name, isn't it edit poke, edit poke dash name?
Yeah.
If you do it as dot value, isn't it evaluating to just the string? And it's not by reference
Yeah.
anymore?
Yeah, it's not going to be the reference to the object. It's just going to be the string.
Mhm.
Take that dot value to it.
Yeah.
And then call dot value on this.
Yeah, you'll call value on that when you want to. But yeah, rip that out. Rip out the dot value. Yeah, and that's why. Save it and now try that again.
And then we can print the dot value.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So now just like edit.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then if you hover over this, it should show you the right one.
Oh, I see. Never mind. I wasn't wrong. It's just.
Is it the modal?
No, it's totally fine. Oh, it's the modal.
You gotta kill a modal, that's
That's why.
why.
Oh, it's because I ripped it from the modal from the front, which already exists on the page.
Yeah.
Trash.
Just hit- yeah. Save and refresh, try again. This is, by the way, HTML, as you will see, is errorless. HTML will just fail silently when something goes wrong. It's like,
Boy, oh boy, oh.
whereas JavaScript is gonna be like, hey, you did something wrong, and it will tell you about it. HTML is just like, I did my best. Sorry.
I think I can call dot value on it.
This is one of those cases where like we have.
Object.
Wait, go back. Did it work? Are we good?
Yeah. I got it over here. Golly, that's funny. Oh man. Oh man, so good. It's so good.
Object.
Yeah, you like that? You like that object? What a powerful user experience. Okay. All right, cool. Let's call dot value here and not. Hmm? I'm going to ask for its value as I submit, not as I first establish it. Oh, that's so funny. That's so funny. Cool. JavaScript's wacky, yeah? So, which one was this? Oh, wow. Great, thanks. This is fine. Squad goals, right? Object, cool. Let's just do. Great. Great. There we go. You want to switch it back to object, object? Oh, yeah. Give me that. Okay. So, as a review, I knew this was the problem, but I didn't know why I was highlighting over weird things. So as a review, it was grabbing what existed on the DOM already in that overlay that I ripped that I never commented out, which is why it was like coming up as blank. Second thing, I should not be calling the dot value because dot value will evaluate at that time. I want the dot value to evaluate as I send it in the submit and not before. Because if I call the dot value and then pass it in, on the submit, it will be at the time I grabbed it. I want the dot value to evaluate after the submit because the user will change it. Cool? I caught this error. I just still didn't know why it was coming up as like blank. It's because the modal from the actual HTML that was hard-coded on the front end.
Can you explain the front again? Like, so
Of course.
You put the HTML in the front end, but it was already there, the overlay?
Yeah. So whenever I appended this form, right, they had unique IDs. The problem is, in the HTML, it already existed. So when I did the document.get document query selector, it was grabbing this one. Yeah, that's why the highlighting was so weird. Yeah.
The other thing too is like if HTML had error messages, it would have told you, hey, IDs have to be unique.
Mm-hmm.
As per the HTML spec, you are not supposed to have two elements with the same CSS ID. You can do it, HTML is just not going to work.
Right.
Oh,
That being said, I should in fact interpolate the ID here, right? Because then I can give each one of these unique IDs. Cool? But here we just want to finish up this patch. So it's going to evaluate at the time it sends, and then it's going to send me back the Pokemon. Here I need to actually, I updated the database based on this patch, and now I need to, well, re-render, but really is like update the DOM. Cool? This is the hard part with the patch. With the post, it was easy, right? It's like, great, I got the new object, go ahead and throw it right back on there, throw it on there. But if I'm editing something, how do I change the one I want to edit? Great. Let's think about it like this, right? Do I have access to all of the Pokemon? I do, all right? And do I know which one I'm editing? Okay, so right now, I have access to all the Pokemon, right? And I also want to know, what's up? Okay, so which one I'm going to edit. I'm simply going to replace the one that I want, all right? The one to edit with the new Pokemon. And then I will trigger a re-render. Because right now what's happening is show all Pokemon is taking in all of the Pokemon, right? Whether it's filtered or all of them. Doesn't matter. It's rendering all of them. I just pass in all the Pokemons that I want to render, and then it will do that. So far, so good. If I pass it in a new array of Pokemon with an updated version of, say, the 4th one that I just edited, or the 9th one that I just edited, can I call show all Pokemon with all the Pokemons to include the one that I just edited? Right? So first I want to, the idea is that I'm going to be passing in show all Pokemons with a new version of all Pokemons that has the edited and updated Pokemon in it. Cool? So here we have all Pokemon, right? And just remember, JavaScript likes to give us access to array equals to, yeah? Can I find the, how do I access one of these with the index? If I had an index of 3, right? If I had an index of 2 rather, what would that give me? Right? Actually, let's do this. Let names equals, right? We got, oh, Andy back there. We got Dick. We got Charlie. I don't like using names because I don't really like using numbers because numbers get really confusing, right? Andy's my boy. So if I were to do 0, I should simply get, right? So it's useful to know that can I do Andy equals to, just kidding, oh boy. I can update my array if I know what the index is, right? That being said, can I call index, oops, whoa, that'll never work. Index of passing it in something that I know, say Dick. Oh, great. So now with that, I can do names at an index of 1 can now be Chris. Right. That's how I can update it. Did you see that? I could simply go, hey, what's the index of that? Call the index of it and reassign it. Cool. So let's do exactly that. I have all Pokemon. Can I do index of? Because it's just an array. Remember, we said it right there. We did. Index of, do I know the name of the Pokemon I want to update? Do I know the name of the Pokemon I want to update? Yes, right? And what is it?
But that's what you're getting back, and if they changed it, you want to use what was there before.
Yes. I want the old name. Do we have access to the old name? We do, right? So I can ask for the old one. And what is Pokemon data right now? Do I need to log it? Let's do it. Oh man, just kidding. Whoa. It's some worm. Cool. Cool. Yeah, this is right. I just console dirt it, right? So I have access, I can just call .name. Right? It'll give me some worm. Cool? So I have access to the original, which is important. Right? Index of Pokemon. Oh, man. Yeah. Let us that. Cool? So I should see updated Pokemon. And then I should see, where's the console log? Right here. Right? And that is index of the Pokemon I just updated. So far, so good? It will return this and then this. So it's useful for internal console logging.
No, I'm saying for in terms of Pokemon that index up. Because if you have two Pokemon with the same name like that, you don't have to know. Because it'll look through your entire array for the name of something. So you have two.
It will return the index. It should be the first one. Some worm, terrible. Cool. What's this? You didn't find it, right? Didn't like that? Yeah. Let's think. Can you? Do I have access to the target value here? Let's try it. Cool. Dot ID. Do I have? There it is. All right, I should have that, right? If I click it, what do I really want? What do I really want? What is it going to be here? Do you guys want to log it? Can I change the name of the what?
You have two events. You have the first event for the edit and the second one for the submit. You change what the callback is using. They're both using E right now. If the first one is the edit button, and that has an ID tag on it that matches which we should have access to, but it needs a different name.
Well, let's think, right? I need the index of the original array. Where would I have access to it?
Why are we not getting the index from the original?
I could save it earlier, right? And that way I have access to it before anything happens. Say again? Sure. No, I'm not changing the ID. The ID is not going to be the same as the index, right? Because if I have like, if I delete a bunch of things and I add a bunch of things, the IDs can go higher than the length. If it feels uncomfortable, it's okay. Because you need to be thinking through these problems, right? You're going to be running into the same problem. And just be okay with feeling a little bit uncomfortable, right? I have the extra time, just want to talk out that process because you need to be able to try your best to solve it. And here you're in the schoolhouse. If you don't solve it, it's not like the end of the world, right? So first make it work, then make it sexy. I'm not trying to think of like the sexiest solution here. All I'm trying to think of like is, can I get it to work? You're going to hack your way through, and then you will look at the refactored code and you will be like, I see. We can work on that. Here, right, before anything else happens, I have this Pokemon data, right? What happens? Some weird things happen, okay? Huh? Sorry, my back hurts. Probably catch it on the recording. From before? This? So what do you want to do? Constant. Outside of this? Where am I now? Inside the edit? I should be inside the edit. That's where I want to make sure I save it. Cool. Constant. Do I want to save it here? Index of Pokemon. Sure. Ready? Is what? Oh, these objects. I'm just ruining all of them. When did you change this? Oh, I didn't have it here. That's weird. It should have gave me this. It's console logging something else. Oh, sorry. Yeah? I'm gonna get rid of the other console logs. Pokemon data is returning the ID, yes, but I want the index of it, which is different from the ID.
Yeah, but couldn't you search for it? Find index of Pokemon data. And then that would be where the ID is equal to Pokemon data.
Say again?
So Pokemon data is giving you the ID of the Pokemon you're choosing.
Pokemon data is giving me,
You have,
yeah.
scroll down. So you have on line 115, you could just call all Pokemon.index of Pokemon data. No, it's already returning the ID.
Yeah. Okay, so what am I looking for here?
Instead of e.target.dataset ID, just put Pokemon data.
Like this? Which one though? Because I apparently spelled it poorly.
Or you're just finding the index of it.
Yeah.
The index that shares that ID.
Why is it?
And isn't the ID going to be? Because you console log out like that.
Hold on. I want to know. Well, it's capitalized. It doesn't matter. So you want Pokemon data?
Yeah.
Here? Cool. Hmm? Yeah. Right. This should have worked in the beginning. So I could do it a couple of ways, right? I know where it is. I know where this data is. I put it here because it's like literally what we're referring to. Cool. So now I have this. I have it. Like, I'm not going to save, so index of the Pokemon is updated. It's the Pokemon data, yeah, it's the one object.
So it can find the index based on like key name.
Yeah, it'll give it to me.
Okay, so you can put it in like.
Yeah, the key, exactly, the key name. So I have this, and then what do I want to do with all Pokemon now? So hold on, I got the which one I'm going to edit by the index. And all I'm going to do is all Pokemon at the index of, right, Pokemon original index. I'm like naming these gross because I just need you to see it, right? And it's going to be what? This old one, because this is what it's going to be in place in memory inside this, should be the new one. Right? So now that we've updated our variables, right, we could update the DOM. So updating the DOM, all right, we update our variables. What now? We can simply render using our show all Pokemons. So here, again, slowly, I'm going to grab the index of it. I'm going to assign at that index that new Pokemon that I just got back. And then I'm going to re-render with all Pokemon. Because I mutated the data here. And remember, show all Pokemon does what? It assigns the inner HTML. It does not append it. So if I call it again, it's just going to re-render all the Pokemon the inner HTML with every single of these Pokemons, which now has the new data, which is what we talked about, that process, right? So, whoa. Oh, hold on. 75, sorry. How did I break that? Am I in JavaScript hell? Because I deleted some stuff? I call it somewhere. Here it is. Console logging it for no reason. So I got rid of it. Great. Some cocoon. Cool. Is everyone cool with patch? I'm going to go over it start to finish, right? A little bit different, right? So, it was a little painful because we had to think through it, but now that you've seen the solution, it's something that you thought through, and you just kind of need a little nudge, right? First, I want to make sure I click this edit. It's going to make sure I grab the data from the one that I'm going to edit. I append the form. I grab a holder for those inputs, and I send off I attach an event listener, right, for the submission of that new form that I just appended. Cool? So let's see that step by step. All I did was click this and appended the new form, knowing now I've saved into a variable a reference to these three inputs, and I have the Pokemon data with the find. From there, I actually fire off my patch request in fetch, and again, it's just following that RESTful route. It's just /Pokemon, it should be Pokemons, but no matter, /ID, because I need to know which one I'm updating, the RESTful route. It's patch, I have my headers because I need to let the server know I'm sending JSON, and I need to let them know I'm going to accept it back in JSON. And then I have to stringify the data I'm sending. This is exactly like the post in the way that I'm sending the data so that the server understands it. I'm going to parse the JSON. I'm going to get back that updated Pokemon from my server. I don't have to log it. I need to know the index of that Pokemon in order to update the array of Pokemon that I have. So remember, the first thing is updating the database. Second thing is really the DOM. And the third thing is the variables. Does not need to be necessarily in that order, because here I'm updating my variables first so that I have access to properly update the DOM. It felt painful, but you own it now, and you know it.
And that was the first method of shutting off disabling the buttons, so there's no problem. Which one did we do there? We didn't disable the button.
We didn't disable the button, no. I'm just following one path.
Okay.
It's one path. Cool? Are there any questions on this right here, where I find the original index? With that index number, I assign it the new Pokemon info, and because all Pokemon's array is updated with the new Pokemon, I can call show all Pokemon that will reset the DOM, trigger that re-render of every single one of these Pokemon to include the updated one that's there. That's why you see the updated one on the DOM. This also keeps my local variables up to date. Cool. So one more time, I get the original index so that here, right, let's just say I edited the first one. What is the index of the first one? 0, right? So the Pokemon original index, right, when I call the index of the Pokemon data, should give me 0. So this is 0 now. I take an array, add an index of 0, and now I'm saying that first one, I'm assigning it this new Pokemon. So now the first one is going to be whatever came back from the patch. So the first one, then the first Pokemon is now updated. And then I re-render it with all Pokemon, knowing that the first one's updated. It re-renders the whole thing, so I have the updated Pokemon on my DOM. Yeah? Great. Let's go over delete. It is significantly faster. Cool. Great. I hit this delete button. What's the first thing I should do? Hmm? So, I should find the Pokemon? Great. Is there a problem here? Do you want to find out? Cool. Is there a problem? No, because const and let are block scoped, right? So here in the block of this if for delete, here in the block for the, here in the block for the if for edit. That's why it's so powerful. If I had var, I'd have to give it a new name, right? See like the problems with var. So now I have this, right? Cool. What now? Do I need anything else besides the ID to delete? Do you remember that link to? And then you just gave it the route with the ID, and then method delete. And then that's all you really needed because the back end will handle the delete logic, and then it will redirect you. Do I need a redirect over here? No. So I'm simply going to send that delete request. Cool. Where is it? Give me that, Chris Brown. I'm just going to copy this whole thing. This fetch ends. Where's this fetch end? It's all right. I'll write it from scratch. I want to like get stuck in JavaScript hell. Cool? Great. What else do I need to pass it? Anything else? Am I sending any data back to the server? No, right? So do I need to do that content type? Am I going to be receiving data back from the server? Do I need to put accept? Do I need headers? Cool. Am I sending it a payload of like params? No. Do you think this will work? Huh? Yes. I'm going to update the database, but I have not updated, right? Cool. What do I do here in the dot then? Is there a response to parse into JSON? Can I just... Huh? Because I feel like I'm going to lose you. I'm going to give you the keywords. You're a little more comfortable at the moment. Yeah?
Do you splice out the Pokemon data from the array and then re-render it out?
Yeah. I'm just going to get rid of that Pokemon from the all Pokemons array. Right? So how do I do that? Do I want to slice it or splice it? Why? What's the difference? Splice is destructive, right? And is it okay that it's destructive? Yeah, because it's not even going to exist in the database anymore, right? So I want to make sure. So how does splice or slice work?
Where it is in the array, right? In order to have.
Who wants to see the docs? right? So inserts at a position, right, replaces the first element. What can I do? I think you can just give it the index and it'll, right? No. No, you just pass it the index, it'll get rid of it. It'll give you like a start to, you can give it a start to finish. Wait, is there a better example? What? Can I use dot remove? Yeah. That will update the DOM, but not the variable. All right, we're gonna get there. Hmm? Remove one element from index at -2. Right. So, do you want me to, like, sorry, I was answering a question. Does anyone want me to explain slice to splice? Okay, great. I have the index, and I only want to remove one thing at that index, right? So, I know for a fact that my second argument is going to be, one, how do I know which index I'm going for? Can I do it here, though? In the then. Probably not, because guess what? Actually, you know, it doesn't matter. It's in the database. I'm sorry. I can call the all Pokemon, right? And pass it in what it is that I want. I have the Pokemon data. I can do the same thing as before. Can you start to see now that as you're doing this, like, great, I understand some points of refactor, right? Do you want to do that refactor right now?
No.
First, make it work, then refactor it. Cool? So how did we do it before? Cool? Is that the way? Oops, that's not going to be it. Is that the way to go?
Not the best way, but it's the way to go now.
It's not the best way. It's the way to go now. Cool? Yeah, but I'm calling the index from the array that I haven't mutated yet, right? I'm not calling it from the database. Cool? Yo, my back. What happened? Yeah. Let's see some Cocoon. Gone. Why didn't the DOM update though? Pidgeot? Just a rat? Yes, I deleted it from the database. I updated my local variables, but I did not update the DOM, right? So, will that work?
Yeah.
Let's get rid of the Squirt Squad. All right. Very good. So, remember the 3 things you have to update. Cool? So here, all I did was updated the local variable. Then I needed to update the DOM. They don't necessarily have to be in a particular order. This updates the database. This actually makes the delete request. We'll delete it from the database. This will remove it from my local variables, and then I will repaint it on the screen with the updated local variable, so I update the DOM.
Does the DOM by default re-render, or does it just...
The DOM will not re-render by default. So I'm triggering that re-render of the container using this because I'm not plus equals in here, I am simply equaling. So I'm assigning the value of the container in this function, right? Here, I'm going to assign it whatever I give it. And whatever I gave it at this point in the delete is going to be all the Pokemon again, minus this one. So is this optimistic or pessimistic rendering? Pessimistic, right? Because I'm waiting until the fetch is finished, then I'm repainting. Cool. So we've covered a lot. Personally speaking, I have about 9 minutes to kind of go over the other way to do patch. I don't think it's a good idea, but I will give you the option. Before we get there, are there any questions on how to do the patch request, how to do the delete? Because I will walk through them again one more time, and then I'll walk through the other one if anyone wants to stay for it. Are there any questions? Once, twice,